In 1974, the first tabletop role-playing game was created. Since then, people from all around have gathered to play. Join me as we talk with RPG enthusiasts while they share their best, worst, and favorite moments. This is You Had to Be There. Hey everyone, welcome to You Had to Be There, a D&D storytelling podcast. I am your host, Tom DeSillis. I am a stand-up comedian. You can follow me on Instagram at Tom DeSillis Comedy. I also am the host of this show, this wonderful journey I'm being on. I am sitting here. Oh, before actually we get started, I always got to do my my give credit where credit is due, as I say. So my logo at the end of my little intro there was created by Nicole Summers. She is part of the Reliably Chaotic Podcast. Is a D&D campaign podcast. Really good, a lot of fun. The music for my intro leading up to that awesome logo was created by Michael James McGarry. You can follow him on It's MJ Made or MJ Made on Instagram, and It's MJ Music on SoundCloud. So be sure to check that out. But today I'm sitting here with my guest today is Kyle Reilly-Joseph. Hello, Kyle.
Hey Tom, how are you now?
I'm doing well, my friend. I'm doing well. So we're gonna talk some Dungeons and Dragons. Let's do it. My favorite first big question that I always really kind of want to get to know is like, what led you to this crazy world of D&D? What got you into role playing games and all that kind of cool stuff?
I'd have to say that started 6 years ago when I was still in high school.
Okay.
I was on YouTube and I seen Vin Diesel was playing with the cast Critical Role.
Right.
And I love Vin Diesel. And I'm like, so I watched that video and I thought this was amazing.
Yeah.
It was just the sheer number of things you could do.
Just by watching some celebrity play, right? It was called what was it? Celebrity D&D, right? Is that what they did?
I think that.
Or
I think
that's
what
they
called it.
They did a Celebrity D&D with another guy. That one was just called, I think, D and Diesel.
It was D and Diesel.
Yeah, D and Diesel. I did actually. That kind of also. I mean, I was playing D&D when I did stumble upon that, but it definitely got me more into it. Like watching like someone like Vin Diesel, who I also like grew up watching. Get really into it, and it was a little short one shot, but that was fun. So when you watched D and Diesel and you're like, I want to do that. I want to play Dungeons and Dragons like Vin Diesel does. Where did you start then? Where did you start getting it? You wanted to play. What'd you do?
What I did was my birthday was just around the corner. We were in early March, and I never know what I want for my birthday.
Right.
So usually it's a last minute thing. So I go over to my friends and I'm like, hey, if I got these books, would you do this weird thing with me?
Okay.
It's going to be weird. It's going to be new. And so I got the books for my birthday, and we just sat down and it was a load of fun.
You just winged it. Well, so
winged it. Didn't know what we were doing.
Okay. So my last guest, Peter, he also, so were you the DM starting out?
I was the DM starting out.
Right. So that's hilarious. So my first two guests, both of them pop their cherries as a DM right out the gate.
Oh yeah.
What so you started DMing, did you read through the book at all? Or you just kind of like, you're like, let's play?
It was plug and play. We got the book and I'm like, all right, I do this. Let me make sure you can do that real quick. And 45 minutes going through the big purple book. And I'm like, yeah, you could do that. That sounds good to me.
That's so. Yeah, so you really just kind of went through the motions. That's crazy. I feel like that's like kind of easier as a player, but must be really tough as a DM. Do you remember what did you do? Was it like the starter set you got? Was it Lost Minds?
It was.
Or what edition was this? I guess
this was 5th edition.
It was 5th edition. Okay, so you started right out in 5th edition.
Yeah, it's the most like new player friendly, I feel.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I played 3.5e years later, 5 years later after my first game, and I'm like, what is this? There's math in here.
There's a lot of math.
Crazy.
I've heard.
Oh yeah. Pathfinder, I couldn't even look at it. Too many numbers for my brain, but I want to get into it, of course.
Yeah, I'm also like I guess I'd say I'm a 5e guy, but that was because it's the only thing I've ever known. I'm also like, yeah, there's when people explain to me the things that you can do and like these other ones, I'm like, that's a lot of math. I'm still over here like, I rolled a 5 and I get 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I'm all with that. But yeah, so do you remember? So you were DMing for your first time, playing for your first time. Do you remember what module it was?
I think it was just a homebrew world. I was in the computer lab at my high school, typing up some like arbitrary, just like, if this then this happens, if this then this happens, and the rest was just like kind of wing it,
making it up as you went along. Then that was kind of the way you did
always
it.
Off the cuff for me. It's a whole lot of improv.
Always off the cuff. So you've never like followed a book or followed a one shot. You just always just kind of make it up as you go.
Yeah, I haven't ran I have ran some pre-made stuff like Strahd's Cat or
Curse of Strahd.
Curse of Strahd, of course. Yeah.
So you've run Into the Abyss. Strahd. Okay.
Yeah. But
nice.
I don't play it because my eyes are stupid and I can't read good.
Can't read good.
Yeah, dyslexia and all that. So I'll just end up ad-libbing. Yeah.
I mean, that does make sense, and it is kind of fun to do that and kind of go with the flow kind of thing, as long as you can pull it off. Like the first time, technically, like one of the first times I ever tried playing D&D, I like forced my friend. I was like, I want to play this. Like, set up the thing, let's do it. And he was just like, all right, you're out of school for magic. And we're like, is it Hogwarts? He's like, no, it's not Hogwarts. And it was kind of a mess. But I can't imagine like playing for hours and just making it up on the spot like that. So how do you do the combat then? Do you pre-build the combats, or you just kind of throw a bunch of monsters together? Because I was like, either that can go really well or really bad.
I pre-build the combats and I make sure that they're balanced, of course, but I have like 5-6 different combats ready per session, just in case, because I know my players. I play with some really off the wall crazy people.
Like off the wall crazy in the sense that like they just do random things that get them in trouble, or like they're just combat hungry?
A little bit of both, because I can't predict these people. They're my best friends since high school, and I have no idea what they're going to do with their characters. The other day, some guy wanted to punch a king in the face. And they're level 2, and I'm like, all right, you can go ahead, just see what happens. And he's like, I'll refrain for now. And I'm like, okay, for now.
All right. Well, in the expense of all my other questions, now I just got to know what led. Let's start with, so you're running kind of your homebrew campaign. You're just kind of going with the motions, and your player. What did the king do?
The king was just sitting on the chair. He's very regal. He's saving face.
Right.
And the adventurers, the party that I'm running for, I believe his name is, oh my god, I forget the gnome's name, but he's a gnome monk.
Okay.
This is just a fresh campaign we started 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. And they went into a forest to go find 2 kids that went missing.
Okay.
So they found the kids, they beat up a little ink devil, and they went back and they wanted to request an audience to see the king.
Okay.
Because they seen a bad omen. So the king sees them the next day, and the monk is like, why is it that 4 or 5 random guys go into the forest and find these kids immediately, but it's been a week and you guys couldn't find valid points.
Right.
And he's like, well, you expect me to compromise my walls and send my guards into the forest looking for just 2 kids?
Gotcha.
And so it kind of escalated from there, and he's like, I want to punch this king in the face so bad.
And so he almost did. He didn't actually.
He almost did. He didn't.
That
he was gonna.
Yeah, that's problematic. So the king was just basically a king. Yeah, he's like, I'm a children. Yeah. All right, that makes sense. I was kind of wish I knew what would have happened if he punched that king in the ghost. That probably would have been the end. They probably would have all got arrested.
Well, the monk definitely.
Yeah, for sure. So you started off with your group of friends. You're playing your things. When I know you. So do you prefer DMing over playing? Are you more of a DMer than a player?
I prefer playing.
Playing,
I
yeah.
like, yeah, because it's just a lot of work to make sure everything's balanced, and then sometimes people will do some crazy stuff that you just couldn't possibly comprehend
Right,
in
right.
that moment.
Yeah,
And so
for
you're
sure.
like, all right, let me go off the cuff with this direction real quick.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So this so then when was it that you finally got to play after like you were DMing for a while? When did you get to actually play finally?
I finally got to play when my friend Jack Michael, I love this man.
Mm-hmm.
He made up a little homebrew of his own, and I got to play my little gnome wizard Strite Willens, and it was quite
Gnome
yeah,
wizard. So your first character was a wizard?
it was.
That's
It
so
was rough.
so you're just digging yourself in a hole with the difficult stuff. I'm gonna start DMing first. Oh, my first character, one of the harder ones to contribute.
Yeah, made out of paper and my bones of glass.
Yeah, gnome wizard. What kind of a wizard were you?
I believe I went with God, I can't remember. Necromancer or Abjuration, I can't remember.
Nice, nice. Those are actually kind of two. I haven't played a necromancer, but I want to. But I do play an abjuration, and that's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Especially if you can build it right. Like I built a turtle abjuration wizard, which is a stupid build because you're just so tanky for a wizard. It makes no sense. But
Yeah.
so what was your gnome's name? You said
Strite Willens.
Strite Willens. Strite Willens,
Yeah.
the gnome, possibly abjuration or necromancy wizard. Um, and was that another like homebrew kind of
Yeah, it was
campaign you did?
yeah. The first island was called Tutorial or Tutorial.
Tutorial.
I'm
Just
like,
like, yeah, we'll try it out. That makes sense.
yeah.
So your gnome wizard. How long did you play the gnome wizard for?
This went for half a school year basically.
Okay.
Every day after school we'd basically meet up at my
Every
house.
day? So you're playing
Every
like 5 days
day.
a week?
5 days a week, and it was great.
Ooh. I mean,
And these
go ahead.
these would go on for like anywhere from 8 to 12 hours.
8 to 12 hours on a school. Whose house were you at? Whose parents were
Mine.
you driving? It was your parents driving your parents insane?
No, it was my friend Ben who had his license at the time that would drive us to my dad's house.
Okay, so you would just set up at your dad's house every day, 5 days a week. Did you do the weekends too, or just after school every day?
Sometimes on the weekends.
Oh my god! So you must have burned through. At what level did? Wait, hold on. Let's do this. Did the wizard make it? Did your wizard survive?
My wizard survived.
Nice.
I don't think we got to finish the campaign though, just because like college and stuff, so we all had to kind of separate for a time.
Oh my god! It must have been a really lengthy campaign because I feel like I played like once a week, and I still barely finished the campaign. But like you're playing every day, like must have been lengthy.
Yeah, it was. Oof. We'd all wake up early in the morning and go to school, and we all be dead. We'd like be zombies walking through the hall.
Yeah, I bet. How'd you do in school? You probably failed.
Nah, I didn't fail. I never did my homework though, but that
I was
just
gonna say, yeah, there's no time to do your homework. You're fighting goblins and stuff all day. Like,
oh yeah.
I'm sorry, the beholder ate my homework. I can't. That's crazy though. That's a lot of fun though.
Oh yeah.
So you're playing. So you have did you ever have a character like totally die? Have you lost anyone?
I think no, actually I don't think I have. No, not even my paladin who rolled 16 consecutive nat ones. He survived somehow.
How do you no. How do you roll? Wait, you rolled 16 consecutive nat ones.
Yep.
Okay. Well,
I had people that were there to witness this.
I've never see these bad boys right here. These are my dice. You are not allowed within 60 feet of these dice. Do you understand me, good sir?
Won't you shake a horse in the sand? Come on.
I think I would give up playing Dungeons and Dragons. I would never do anything of chance if I rolled 16 nat ones in a row.
It was awful, and it was during a combat that lasted 4 hours.
How
do you calculate that?
A combat that lasted 4 hours.
Yeah, there were a lot of moving people. Was this 5th
edition too, or was this when you started playing?
5th edition.
Okay, because I heard that the 3.5 is when the combat used to take like a ton of time. What was it like? What kind of like combat was it? Did you trigger a whole dungeon? Because I did that once.
It was a whole dungeon. This was something we were supposed to go like stealthily through, but I was playing a paladin. Yeah,
I've done that where you're like, all right, we're gonna try and be sneaky, and then something goes wrong, and the whole dungeon comes at you. And I had a very similar situation once. That's hilarious. 16 nat ones. Have you ever recovered from that? Have you ever like? I feel like I couldn't recover from that.
Oh no, they wouldn't let me live it down. They still won't.
Did you throw out those dice? Because I would get rid of that dice too. Also.
Oh no, I was borrowing dice from my friend. He tossed
so it was just all just bad luck.
It was
across
terrible.
The board. Wow. All right. So let's all right, so you've never lost a character. That's pretty impressive. I haven't yet, but I've only been playing a few years, so I feel like it's only a matter of time. So what was your favorite character then? You ever so you had your gnome, who was like you had a paladin. What kind of classes do you tend to go towards?
I love the charisma casters and paladin, the half caster.
Gotcha.
I just love those charisma-based characters because you can get away with quite a bit of shenanigans when you got a good face.
Yes, yeah, the charisma can definitely... It's actually kind of... Sometimes, as like another player, it's super frustrating when you like build like this just warrior, like beyond warrior character, and the stupid charisma character just keeps talking you out of shit. And I'm like, hey, I have this giant sword and I want to kill something with it, and you keep opening your mouth and ruining that.
Yeah, my favorite character, his name is Finny. Finis Nymor was his full name.
Okay.
He was a young half-elf sorcerer.
Okay.
And he would do quite the opposite of talking people out of stuff. He would kind of like poke people into combat. One time, one of the party members got locked up because they were kind of like low-key threatening the Earl of the area. I don't know what it is with my groups and threatening the people in power. Okay,
so there's a lore in there. Who was threatening it, you said?
I believe it was our wizard, Hex.
Okay.
And she got locked away. So Finny went around to all the townspeople and was like, he was like faking tears. He's like, they locked her up because she has horns. She's a victim of circumstance. It's not her fault. She's half demon. And so he tried to get the townspeople up in arms about this, and it ended up working. They started.
He essentially rallied the townspeople against the Lord because he locked up the tiefling?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because they were like, well, that's not right. It wasn't their fault. They were cursed. They weren't cursed. Finny was just lying and embellishing the story.
Did you get, what did the townspeople do then? Did they get them out, or...
No, they rallied in front, but that was enough to distract everyone. And in another part of the city, the rogue set off an explosion, and the guards ran to one side, and then we snuck in the back way through a little tunnel we dug as the people were rallying. It was crazy.
So you basically incited a whole riot in the town. So the people rallied, and then
Yeah.
the rogue sets off the bomb so that way you can like sneak in and rescue your friend.
Yeah, and it was
That's
a lot
amazing.
of fun.
That's such like a crafty way to go. Was it planned, or did it just kind of roll? Did you just kind of go through the motions? Was it like, you guys do this, I'm gonna go set off a bomb, or was it just like, there's chaos happening, rogue just disappears, explosions like what?
No, we set it up because Finney was like, I'm gonna be protesting in front of the place. I would hope you would all make it, and a whole bunch of people turned up, so he snuck away, and the rogue set off the bomb, which was pre-planned. We didn't want anyone to be hurt by the explosion. Of course, some people who didn't turn up ended up getting caught in the blast, but casuals we kept to a minimum. And we got in there, and the wizard wasn't in the cell.
Okay. So after all that, she wasn't there?
She wasn't there. She escaped and jumped into the rapids because it was an underground cavern where they keep the magic casters. She jumps into the rapid waters and ends up making a save or something, and ends up washing out of the town miles away.
So, and this was a party member at the table, right?
This was a party member at the table.
So out of characters, you guys knew she wasn't there.
No.
Oh.
They got together. This was on over Discord. So they got together outside of session and did that.
Oh, that's
and we
crafty.
Were like, where's the...
Oh, that's good.
It's crazy. I love doing it over Discord because there's things that happen off screen and you have no idea.
Yeah, there is. I haven't actually had the chance to play D&D in person because I am a quarantine D&D baby, I guess, as many others are. But there is a little something to that, because I'll have like something, magical will happen to your character, and like you'll just get a message from the DM like, hey, your buddy doesn't look like your buddy anymore, it looks like something else, what do you do? And you just kind of got to roll with it. But I think there's a really cool aspect to that. I think it's also a skill as a player to like know that what you're about to do is bad, but like your role says otherwise. Like, there's something on the other side of the door, but like you rolled such crappy perception that you're like, well, it sounds good to me, let's go. Like, I think there's like a truth kind of that a good player will just kind of roll through the punches even though they know it's the wrong move. But that is a crafty way to go about it. So wait, so so all right. So after that, did you guys just dip? Did you just leave the whole town in shambles?
Yeah, we were just like, well, see ya.
Let's go. Let's get the hell out of here.
Closed the door behind us. We went out the back hole that we dug, and we took our horses and we just started riding. And off in the distance, we see the wizard go over the horizon. She was going back for the Earl.
She was going back for the Earl?
Yeah.
Like she her lord or whatever, to like kill him?
Yeah.
Oh, she was pissed. So she's like...
She was pissed. She was ready. She was sopping wet, just fresh out of the rapids. And she's like, I'm going to kill her. And we're like, might be dead already.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I mean, at that point, At that
so
point,
we threw on the horse and we sped off.
So you didn't go back and kill...
Oh, no. Never return to the scene of the crime. They'll get you.
Yeah, I think that's the smart move at that point, rather than just completely put yourselves at danger. So that was your charisma experiences. So you play a lot of paladins, the charisma based. Have you ever made a character that like was like a terrible build that like you really didn't?
Oh yeah.
Cause I did that too once. It's just like, you're like, this will be funny, and then you're like, I can't even roll anything right now. What was your like your character that you're like, I really should have reevaluated this one?
Oh, he was terrible. This was the guy I rolled 16 consecutive nat ones with.
So the rolls worked for him.
Yeah, his name was Hank Steelwood, and he was a paladin from the Paladin Department, the TPD, which was the tier Paladin Department.
Did he multi-class as a porn star with that name?
No. He was basically, his story was, he was supposed to be an ass character.
Gotcha.
He was basically like the poster boy of the Paladin Department, and then they sent him on one assignment. It's just like, go check out this drug trade going on. Mm-hmm. He's like, okay. His build was he had a shield, a hand crossbow, and a billy club. And he had one magic item that the DM allowed me to get. It was a music box that every time he went to go kick down a door, it would play 60s cop music. So before the door gets kicked off the hinges, you heard ba-da-ba-ba-ba, and then the door would blow in.
So not only was he a crappy build, but like he also just had the most, I mean, it's a fun magical item, but it's essentially a useless magical item.
It's actually harmful, because if he tries to kick it down while everyone stealths out the window,
yep, just fails. I mean, kicking the door kind of gives that away regardless, but
yeah, but it gives him that split second before.
They're like, "What's that noise?" They all look at the door before it gets kicked down for sure.
Yeah, but that combat that I rolled 16 consecutive nat ones. The first nat one was stealth, so like you heard the door lock, and then he goes, "I got this," and nat one's the kick in the door. He falls over. They hear the clatter of armor. He gets up. The rogue lock picks the door. He tries to kick the door in one more time. Another nat one. I'm like, screw it. I use the rest of my movement to get up and open the door with my free action. I'm done with this. He opens it up. He gets shot immediately.
Oh. That's horrible.
It is.
Did he make it?
He made it.
He made it through.
Halfway through the combat, after the 16th one, I'm like, screw it. Lay on hands. People were going down, so he would.
People. Yeah,
he ran over, lay on hands.
You cannot natural one a healing spell. That is for. I mean, you can roll one on the dice, but you still get the plus. So like,
but you can't miss.
Just go with what you can't miss with at that point. Just anything to avoid rolling a d20 at that point is for sure. That's hilarious.
Yeah,
I can't even imagine the frustration.
How that ended, he ran in after the main guy into a room, and he throws down like a firebomb, and the room goes up in flames, and he disappears somewhere. So after the fire goes out, there's still like curtains up on the wall. I'm like, I want to investigate for a hidden door or a hidden trap door he went through. Nat one. Well, there he goes. He must have eviscerated. He must have burnt up in the fire.
Oh my god. Oh, so even so the nat ones rolled all the way straight through the combat, and then continued on after the combat. Oh my god, I can't.
It was unbelievable.
They're like, you want to? I can't. I still, for some reason, I cannot wrap my head around. I don't think anyone can. I will challenge anyone. Like, if anyone can reach out to me and say, I've rolled 17 nat ones in a row, I'll give you, I'll put you on the next 3 episodes of this show. Like, I don't think anyone has ever done that. That's got to be a world record, I think.
I don't know. I've seen some stories online, too.
The probability, though, man, the probability is unheard of.
I think I did the math once, and it was like 1/10,000% or something, and it's crazy. The other week I rolled 4 nat ones.
Yeah, you're not touching
in a row,
dice, man.
It was
like if those were nat 20s and you were at a casino, they would kick you out. That's like
house
that
always
kind
wins.
of luck. Like, yeah, but that's crazy.
Oh, they love me. They send me a free champagne with the amount of money I lose.
Oh, you're a gambler?
Oh no,
Oh,
not with this
oh,
luck.
you're saying if they did? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't do that. But that the most dice I roll is playing D&D.
Yeah.
So you got definitely one of the most unique stories there. Let's toss this ball into your court. I've been kind of learning a lot of things. What's like? Give me like one or two of your. Let's start with one. Like, what's one of your favorite, best, worst, most ridiculous moments playing D&D thus far?
Let me think. It's gotta be when I was DMing and I had Bartek, my friend Shaw, and Ryan. It was a 3-man campaign I was just running for them in high school. Okay. And they fell in love with one of these NPCs. It was just a stupid goblin gunslinger. His name was Jimbus. And for some reason, Jimbus just clicked with he would talk like this. Yeah, and he had a
goblin voice.
Yeah, he had a gun that was too big for him, so every time he shot it, he flew back 10 feet.
Like the noisy cricket in Men in Black, right?
Yeah. And it was just they took him on the adventure with him.
Yeah.
And another character that my friend Shaw made, Jimbus was part of his backstory. He was a merchant and Jimbus was running his store while he was away adventuring.
Okay.
And he had a little crystal ball he could talk to Jimbus on. And whenever they would call Jimbus, some weird stuff was happening. He was like talking on the phone while a customer was trying to get his attention. He was in a shootout at one time. And it's just, I like doing reoccurring characters in my campaigns just because it's like, it's that nice little nod to their previous campaign, and they love some characters that show up. Some characters I'll throw in and they'll be like, I hate that guy. I'm like, that's why I put him in. So you could beat him up.
I definitely think that's pretty cool. Like, especially even if this party never met that character, to just have it in the same world. Yeah. I guess. So I guess that kind of, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna, because the way you DM is definitely like, I'm sure there's a lot of DMs just banging their head against the wall, but screw them, it doesn't matter. It's your game, you can do whatever you want. That's why I love these games. So you run these campaigns, so do you have like a world in your head? Is there like towns, or you just kind of like, yeah, this town and now this town, I guess?
Yeah, I set up a map and stuff. Okay. Currently, I've been running the same campaign for multiple parties right now because I'm just trying to refine it and get it good. Okay. My own little module almost. And it's going pretty well. It's the world of Thalos. It has a world tree that's slowly killing the planet because a tree that size demands nutrients and water. Okay. So it's slowly turning the world into a desert.
All right.
So I've been playing around with that idea, NPCs that just appear in there. And it's pretty vast with a bunch of towns. So if people wanted to play through it on the same world with a different party somewhere in the ice town to the northeast, they can. It's got a bunch of stories to tell.
That's really cool. That's very, very cool. That is much more in depth. I've been kind of dabbling in DMing, and it's more like I took a one shot that I bought, and then I just kind of like wrote a little bits and pieces around it, and then after that, I have no idea what I'm gonna do. But like, to be able to kind of envision that whole world in your head is really cool. So but wait, so this gunslinger, I want to hear kind of a little more about this goblin. So you said he's tied to the backstory. He's the merchant, but then they ended up finding him, and was he with the party?
Yeah, he's an ally of the party.
Okay.
In most of the campaigns, I put him as just a funny little sidekick character, and they're like, "Hey, I love this guy." Sometimes they'll take him with them if they need like a mercenary, or if they'll just be like, "Hey, what's up?" and then just go on their way. It's just a fun little thing that my friends and I like to do.
Cool. What other fun? So you got your cool NPCs, definitely a good aspect. What about any other crazy stories? Your favorite go-to?
This will be a story about my first campaign, because this one's going to be really crazy off the wall. My friend Ben, this man is insane. He's a creative guy, love him to death. His first character, I asked him if he wanted to play. He's like, well, what can I play? I'm like, you can play a dwarf, you can play an elf, a gnome. He's like, what's something funny? I'm like, you could be a dwarf. And then they're very cheerful. Can I play a pumpkin? I'm like, what do you mean a pumpkin? He's like, I want a pumpkin guy. And I'm like, all right, let's play around with this thought a little. So the final product we got, and I don't know if I have a picture on hand, was Swudge the Pumpkin Golem. And Ben ended up drawing some art for him. And I loved it. He was just a pumpkin with arms and legs, a big mouth like carved into him like he was a jack-o'-lantern, and he used a sickle. He was a ranger.
Oh, okay. I was gonna. So he's a ranger pumpkin.
Ranger pumpkin golem.
Ranger pumpkin golem. And did you guys build? So you have the classes there. What did you use as like stats for a pumpkin golem?
I think we used like half elf or something, because the +2 charisma.
Gotcha.
And stuff. Because who doesn't like pumpkins? So he built it like that. He couldn't be put to sleep like an elf because he was a golem. So I thought that was fitting.
Okay. So did you look up some like golem stats and kind of like mix the two together a little bit?
Nah, he rolled for stats, just regular.
Well, I'm sorry, I don't mean like stats. I mean like golems have certain abilities and stuff like that. Like you said, can't be put to sleep or whatever like that.
No, it was just that because I didn't want to give him too much,
right,
to keep him all like on par, so it's a level playing field for everyone. His whole character trait is he would get belligerently mad at anyone who would eat pumpkins. So this small little background key element came into play later on. He was an original member of the group. They found him the second time we played in a tavern with his friend Sout, who was a shapeshifter that's true form was a what's the word for it? Anthropomorphic piece of toast.
Was this an NPC?
No, this was once again Jack Michael, who would change into a gnome.
Wait, all right, hold on. So the same guy who played the pumpkin golem,
yes,
made another character that they met together?
No, these were two separate characters, but they were like paired backstory.
Oh, okay.
So gotcha. You had a bard, toast man, whose name was Sout, which is toast backwards.
Got it.
These guys are crazy. I told you.
No, I love it.
I love them to death.
That's like the fun part about this game. Is the creativity is endless, and that's why.
Yeah.
But go ahead. Yeah. So.
So many sessions later, after they met up, they found a bag of holding. So they're like, "Wait, we have a golem. Can we like stitch this into the golem's mouth?
Mm-hmm.
So when he eats stuff, it just goes into the bag of holding." So the bag of holding was the golem's mouth? Yeah, he was just a big round pumpkin, no like body and stuff. So they just like, what if we put this in his mouth? So they sewed it in the back of his throat.
Mm-hmm.
So anytime he like bites someone with his giant mouth, he would try to put them into the bag, so they'd roll contested grapple checks and stuff.
It's very funny.
It is.
That's a lot of fun. So I want to hear. So he would get mad if he saw anyone eating pumpkins. What was a situation Did he get in a situation? Did he kill someone because they were eating a nice pumpkin pie? I'd be in trouble because I love pumpkin. So.
Oh yeah. He escaped from his jail cell and he went into the warden's room while he was asleep. And he turns over and he sees a slice missing from a pumpkin pie. So he takes he breaks off one of the bedpoles and just starts beating this man in his sleep. He's like, "You like to eat pumpkin?" And whack, whack, whack. And then he got the keys and he went back and he released everyone.
Man, I'm sensing a lot of your party members end up in jail. I guess this has to do with
they are crazy.
You should teach them a lesson. You'd be like, "No, you're not going to jail this time. I'm just gonna kill you. Just kill them all. Just TPK them."
Yeah.
Just be like, "Stop doing bad things." No, that's so funny though.
Oh, they'll run. They're. I know some campaigns people won't run. They're like death before retreat.
And listen, I've learned as a DM and as a player that running is sometimes a fantastic option because there is for sure situations once you realize you're like, this is definitely not a place we're supposed to be at this very moment as these characters. Like, we got a boogie. Yeah. Have you, as a player, like, what was your one? I know, like, for me, I had one moment where I was like playing through these months and months, and then like there was definitely one day where I was like, oh, this is where my character dies for sure. We ended up not, because we took the run route for sure, but what was one maybe, you know, we'll kind of maybe do like another one or two things, but do you have a memory of you as a player having to like jam?
Oh yeah, this was with Strite Willens. So in our groups, we like to split the party a lot. I know it's like a cardinal sin. Don't split the party, but mess around and find out. So Strite Willens is just walking around the woods because they're, once again, child's missing. So Strite Willens is like, I'm gonna go check the east side, and they're like, we're gonna check the city. He's like, okay, cool. Let the one guy going alone go through the woods, see what happens. So Strite Willens is walking around and he sees like a little altar, and he sees the child being put on the altar, and he's like, well, I can't run now. So he runs in there and he uses thunderclap to get him all away from the child. And so he grabs the child and he starts trying to move, but he's a gnome. So he's already got like reduced movement speed, only 25, halved again because he's encumbered trying to carry a child who's twice his size,
right? Basically.
So he's like dragging this child, and they're like attacking him. He's using the dash action. Finally, he raises a finger to the sky and he shoots off a firebolt as a flare.
Right, like, help.
And one of the party members sees it and they run over and they're able to help Strite get away from them because he had 1 HP because they're just using acid splash and they're using magic missile, and he's getting torn apart. And the human fighter, the Asmer cleric, and the gargoyle warlock arrive on the scene and are able to bail him out, luckily.
And you guys dipped from the whole situation. I mean, you were rescuing someone, so I guess there's no real reason to fight.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We took out a few of them as we were running, but we were able to escape, luckily.
That's so crazy. That's like the one downside. I love I love halflings because if you were a halfling, there was almost no way you would roll 16 nat ones in a row. At least it would be 8 instead, or something like that. But anyway, that is the downside to those small characters, is like that carrying capacity and all that kind of stuff. Also, like if you have a spell like Thunderstep, you can bring creatures with you, but they have to be the same size or smaller, so it pretty much negates a lot of that. And yeah, was it a human child? I guess then it was a human child. Yeah, and a human child is much bigger than a gnome, so fantastic.
Yeah. No kidding. That came up a lot of times in that campaign where it's like you're a bit too small to be doing that. I would walk into taverns and I'd be like underneath the counter, basically. That's looking funny. Up at the guys. They made sure to remind me almost every session that my character was Pipsqueak, about 2 feet tall.
Well, it's also a wizard, so that also changes the game a lot. Like I know one of my friends actually on that Reliably Chaotic podcast, he plays a gnome barbarian. So like he's a gnome, but he's strong as hell. It's like doesn't make any sense, which is always fun. But nice, excellent. I think that you got a lot of really great stories. I am definitely a fan of your style of just total chaos. Like let's split the party, let's not make anything up. I'm sure like there are a lot of like D&D players out there and they're like, you got to follow everything to the T and like, you know, you never do this, and you clearly laugh at that and take your friends on crazy adventures. So it would be it would be an honor to step in one day as a guest player if you ever have me, because I am all aboard the let's go loose cannon on this.
We got my friend Ben, who I was telling you, who's Swudge.
Yeah.
He says I'm a pretty good DM. I think I'm hot garbage, but if people have fun, hey, whatever.
Well, Ben, I believe it. I believe it. And thanks for also like anyone listening. Thanks again for stopping in. I think we got a lot of great stories out of this. I hope you had a good time, Kyle.
Oh yeah,
chatting it up. This is what it's about. I'm like glad to do this. You also, if you want to plug anything, now's a good time to plug, because the audio of this will go up next week, and anyone listening will get that. So go ahead.
Well, I sometimes stream on Twitch under the name Gagglegoon, because we have a bunch of my friends come on every once in a while. We'll play a game, Warzone. I'm garbage at just about every game I play, but hey, bring people on, just have a lot of fun with it.
Nice, cool. Well, definitely check out that stream. As far as I go, obviously we're if you're new stopping in on the show here, I pretty much go live at my guest's convenience / my convenience, because I'm also busy. If you want to see me do stand-up, I'm going to be at Napper Tandy's in Northport next week on the 22nd. I'm going to be at Broadway Comedy Club in the city in Manhattan on, let me double check that date because I'm a crazy person, May 8th. It's the Industry Room show, the 6 p.m. So if you go on there, drop the name DeSillis, my last name, for a discount on the tickets. And I think that'll pretty much bring our episode to a close. If you want to be on the show, anyone who's listening, just follow this on Twitch. Follow me on Twitch, or you can follow the show anywhere you get your podcasts. On my first episode should be up tomorrow for the audio, so you can do it there. And then just shoot me an email at youhadtobethere@gmail.com. And the D&D is with the letters, not the symbol. So youhadtobethere dndpodcast@gmail.com. And that'll be it. Thanks everyone for listening. This has been You Had to Be There with Kyle Reilly-Joseph.